Cover letters are awesome for career changers. You get to share who you are in more of a story form, plus you get to address why we're making the change, and you can share things that maybe aren't really featured or not featured heavily on your resume. So let's get into how to make an awesome cover letter for career changers. Now, my name is Cassandra and I help motivated professionals build their careers through practical tips to gain career confidence. And I have been a career changer. If you are here, you are a career changer, and I know we need some confidence. So let's talk about how to get confident about that cover letter and making the career change. Now, first, let's just go through some cover letter basics. Whether a career changer or not, these are just some basics of writing a cover letter. It should be one page unless you're in some very specific industries, but normally it is one page, and you need to be looking at the job description and pulling out 2 or 3 requirements or skills that they're asking for, and then we're going to name and claim them, right? We're going to share, hey, I have that skill, and here's an example of how I've done it. The big thing is we don't just list things. I have read thousands of cover letters. And what often happens is people go, I have the skills you're looking for. I am organized. I have created presentations. I have done this. I have done that. I have done this other thing. But you're not proving any of it. So we got to name it and claim it. Here's how I can show you I have done this thing. So second thing, when you're writing a cover letter as a job seeker, yes, address the elephant in the room. I want you to explain to them why we are making this career change. Sometimes people think they can't do this. They think, oh, am I just outing myself that I'm making this big change? Maybe they won't notice it on my resume, or like, am I allowed to tell them I'm making the change? Yes. That's why the cover letter is awesome, because on the resume, it's much harder to explain, hey, I know you see a bunch of this skill or a bunch of work in this industry, and I know you're in this industry, but this is why I'm pivoting. Can't really do that on a resume. But on a cover letter, you can. Plus, oftentimes they look at your resume first and they may see that different skill set and go, wait, why are they switching to this job or industry or whatever? So then they're going to read your cover letter and get the answer. So don't beat around the bush. Explain to them why we're making this transition. So it should be done in about a sentence. This isn't your life story or the whole story of why you're making the career change. This is just a sentence. Something like, while the majority of my experience has been in the public sector, working in nonprofit youth sports, I can see how those skills will translate over well into this corporate environment. Something like that. Then you're going to explain more about what those skills are that transfer, but just a sentence saying something. If the company is more a casual company, you think this cover letter could be a bit more conversational, I would say it in a more conversational manner. I would honestly write something like, you might be wondering, why is this person who worked in television for 10 years now wanting to work in education or HR or whatever it is? Like, directly say the question you think they're asking themselves and then answer it. Here's why. Now, the next thing we want to do in the cover letter is highlight transferable skills. Yes, you're doing that on the resume, but in the cover letter, you get to put actual examples. Here is a time when I did this thing, and this is why I believe it matters to you and this position. So some basic ones to think about: communication, organization, management. There are plenty of skills that transfer over. The key is just going to be saying, I know you're looking for someone with organizational skills. I did blah, 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 blah in my last position, and I can really see how that will be an asset in this role, as I know I would be in charge of organizing, yada, yada, yada. Connect the dots one to the other. But with this, I just want to remind you one more time, in the cover letter, we are not sharing everything that's transferable, nor are we sharing every which way a skill is transferable. We can get into more of that in the interview. This is just the highlights. So we want to take that skill, give an example of how we have it, and then why or how that will help in this future job. Okay, the next thing, close the gap. So If possible, close the gap between what you did before, what you've been doing, and this new job that seems like they're far from each other and have nothing to do with each other. Close that gap by talking about the education you've gotten in between, the LinkedIn courses you've taken to level up your skills that you need for this job, the volunteer work you've done that's maybe buried at the bottom of your resume that now you can bring to the surface and go, yes, I know in my accounting job, I didn't plan events, but I'm looking at this event planner job because for the last 3 years, I volunteered at church and have put on every women's event for up to 400 people for the last 2 years in a volunteer capacity. Like, close the gap so that they see these two jobs aren't as far apart as it might look on paper. Now, I know that's not always possible, but if it is, if you have something that can demonstrate skill in the meantime or demonstrate education, put it in the cover letter. Okay, the last thing you can do in your cover letter is give the passion play. So what I mean is a lot of times people love to put in their cover letter, oh, I'm so passionate about blah, blah, blah. You know, entry-level positions, students going in will just be like, oh, I'm so passionate about working in the automotive industry or working in finance, but then they have nothing to back it up. You are making a career change because you probably are really passionate about this thing, and there's probably a why behind it. So if there is time, give the passion, and by time, I mean room on the page, give the passion play. Some ideas on how to do this, you're going to give the why behind it. What that looks like is, was this the path not taken? Have your values changed? And because your values changed, you're now looking at this type of career. Did you recognize over the last year that life's too short and you want to go for the thing you really want to do? Giving the passion play really helps people remember that you are a human being and they are a human being who make choices in life, who want to do something different, who are allowed to change their mind. I really think it's a way of bringing some humanity back to that cover letter and to remind the person, like, no, it's not crazy that I'm wanting to make this job switch. Here's my why behind it. When we understand people's why, we give a lot more credence to what they want. Now we know the background. And so it's really helpful to add in that why you're making this change in terms of passion. Now, we always want to focus positive within our application, our resume, our cover letter. So don't go negative. Don't tell me you're leaving because it's a super toxic industry. We focus on the positive of moving into the new industry. But this passion play in your cover letter is where we can get just a tiny bit vulnerable. We're going to open up and share a bit more of ourselves to remind them, again, like I said, you are a human being talking to another human being. We make life choices. We make changes. We have reasons why we're making decisions in our world, and that this isn't just, oh, I have the skills. It's, here's why I really want to do this now. Basically, this is going to show them that you're not just doing it for a paycheck or because you just really need a job. You're doing it because you see this career as a path to your future. So to recap, don't forget the basics of a cover letter and then focus on why this career change is going to be an asset to their company, because you have the skills and the passion and hopefully the education in some form to be a great employee in their company. So keep that in mind. That's it for today. I have some other videos for you here and here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.